My name is Kent Woolert. I'm the owner of Woolert GMC here in Montrose, Colorado. I've been in this market for 8 years now and have been advertising with the local radio station all of that time, which is now owned by Cherry Creek Broadcasting, who has invited you to this seminar. I have been one that has always believed in top-of-mind awareness for my dealership. I brand my store very effectively through using radio. I am on the radio station every day, all day, and when I have events, I step up my marketing and go with 8 to 10 commercials per day during my special sales events. This has enabled me to set myself apart from the competition in such that everybody knows who Woolert GMC is. I'm very visible in the community. The radio helps me do that. I do all of my own radio ads in my own voice. People recognize my voice, they recognize me, and the radio helps me attain that.
I'm Margaret. I'm the front office manager at the Bridges, and I also handle all of our events. And we started our TOMA agreement 2 years ago. I attended the TOMA conference at the Holiday Inn, and I remember thinking then that TOMA was a really good idea. I didn't know what it meant until I showed up at the conference that day. I think that it's been beneficial for us in two parts. One is staying on the top of the mind for the consumer in Montrose, but it's also been really helpful to me to have that contract in place, because then it's staying on the top of my mind to market.
Hi, my name is Dave Dolan. I own Community Staffing Services here in Montrose. We're a very small company. We planned ahead to do this advertising with an intrusive medium like radio, which I prefer over TV, because now is the time we've got to get our name out there, because we're a small company. If we don't do this as an investment proactively now, we're going to get buried in anonymity.
My name is Craig Whittegren. I'm the owner of A. Ruderman Sewer and Drain. Well, I hadn't had any experience with radio advertising until last fall, and I bought out one of my competitors, and in the process I inherited his radio advertising. To be totally honest with you, I thought, what a waste of money. But it'll be over in December and I'll cancel the contract, and that'll be that. And after we took over, every other week we were just busy, and it took me about a month and a half to realize it was the weeks our advertising was running. And so I thought, well, I'm going to pay attention to this. And sure enough, every other week we advertise on the radio. Every other week we're busy, and the next week we're catching up from the week before. So at the end of the year we renewed our contract, and it's worked exactly that way throughout the rest of this year for us. That's my experience with radio advertising. It has boosted our business big time.
People are always commenting that they hear us on the radio, so I think that that right there is my biggest proof that we're on the top of people's minds. In order to get that message across to your citizens, you have to be on a local station, I think, and you have to keep telling them we're here, we're open, we're affordable, we're not going anywhere, especially if you're not on one of the main streets.
We are gaining market share. I give a lot of that success to the radio. People always say, well, where'd you find out about us? They say, from the Yellow Pages. But the radio is what planted the emotion into their head.
I thought in this business, radio advertising would not work. That people have an emergency, they look in the Yellow Pages and they call somebody. And it has really shown that it does work for us. The name recognition, apparently. And then they look in the phone book and say, oh, I've heard that ad, and call us.
In the month of July, our rounds doubled from last year, and we've been running our golf specials on our TOMA. And we have great golf deals, and I know that that's also a part of it, but we would not be able to get that message out to the community without our radio advertising.
We have gotten our money's worth because we are seeing our market share continue to grow. Price-wise, if we get a half a dozen new customers every year, we've more than paid for our radio spots.
Many people cut their advertising back at times like this, feeling that this is an expense that they have to cut. My position in times like this is exactly the opposite. I may adjust some of my advertising dollars, but I never cut my top-of-mind awareness presence in the media. And because of that, I have been able to sustain and even grow during these economic times where everyone else is shrinking.
In spite of the recession, we are up over 21% this year. I can tell you, this morning I was comparing our books to Roto-Rooter's books 1 year ago, and we are up over $60,000.
We have not just one person at the radio station supporting our campaign and our business, but we've got the entire group.
Well, everybody at the station's been great to work with. I like going over there. It's a nice little break from my normal life. I like doing our own spots. The voice recognition throughout town, I get a lot of comments from people.
This is something that I didn't do in the past and I regret. I did the helicopter approach where we hit a bunch of advertising and let it fall off. Now we've got a baseline that we can keep the way it's supposed to be done, to keep that top of mind awareness out there in the people's minds so that when they think staffing, they think community.
In the automobile business, which is one of the hardest hit industries in this economic crunch, other than construction, we have been able to maintain and even grow our business because of the things that we do, and I think top of mind awareness is very effective and a big part in that ability to grow our store and be even more successful in tough times.